If you're facing a tax dispute that's heading towards litigation, this is no longer about filing paperwork or fixing math errors. This is about protecting your money, your business, and in some cases, your very freedom, your right to stay out of jail. Once the IRS or a California tax agency digs in, they assume they're right from the very get-go. And they expect you to prove otherwise. Matter of fact, the court will as well. You have the burden of proof. That's where tax litigation begins. Tax litigation happens when a tax dispute can no longer be resolved through audit appeals or negotiation. At this stage, you're dealing with IRS appeals, the U.S. Tax Court, potentially the Federal District Court, or the California Office of Tax Appeals. This is no longer an accounting problem. It's a legal fight governed by rules of evidence, procedure, and strategy. And here, the smallest mistake could lock in additional tax penalties, interest, or worse. Here's why most taxpayers are at a disadvantage. The IRS and state of California litigate tax cases virtually every day. Their attorneys are well-trained, experienced, and very well-resourced. Most taxpayers wind up walking into litigation underprepared, overexposed, and relying on advisors who cannot protect them legally. They're not equipped to. If your representative doesn't understand both tax law and litigation strategy, you're already behind the 8-ball. Here's where hiring a dual licensed tax attorney and CPA such as myself really matters. You should think about hiring someone like me when representation becomes critical. A dual licensed tax attorney and CPA brings legal authority to argue your case and attorney-client privilege to protect your communications. We also bring deep accounting knowledge to dismantle flawed assessments. We will bring in strategic control over what is disclosed and when. CPAs alone cannot offer privilege in litigation, and most of the times can't even litigate. They can only be there as a witness. Accountants cannot argue constitutional issues. They're not trained in them. And litigators without tax expertise are worse. They often miss critical technical defenses in tax litigation. Numbers and tax law are inseparable. Federal and California litigation exposure. Tax litigation rarely stays isolated. A federal IRS case can trigger California FTB income tax disputes, CDTFA sales and use tax litigation, EDD payroll of worker classification actions. Each California agency has its own rules, deadlines, and penalties, and information is readily shared aggressively between these agencies. Without coordinated legal strategy, one case can spiral into multiple enforcement actions. Here's what winning a tax litigation case actually takes. Successful tax litigation is built on evidence control, legal positioning, procedural precision, and knowing when to fight and when to negotiate. The goal isn't just to argue, it's to reduce exposure, protect assets, and reach the best possible outcome under the law. That requires experience on both sides of the system. So in closing, whatever you do, don't litigate blind. If your tax dispute is heading towards litigation, or worse yet, already there, this is not the time to guess or delay. The right strategies early on can mean the difference between swift resolution and government escalation. Please reach out to the tax law offices of David W. Clausing to speak with a dual licensed tax attorney and CPA before your case moves any further. And for the record, we've never lost in federal tax litigation to date.